I want to be under the bright lights. I want to be on the Broadway stage.
Tiger Rag Radio is on now.
We're back here on Tiger Rag Radio. Jeff Palermo along with the guys from Tiger Rag, Todd Horne and Glenn Guilbeau, Jackson Blackman, our producer. Let's hit our first guest of the night. He joins us on the Max Home Hotline. It's Reed Darcey, who covers the LSU women's basketball team for The Advocate, NOLA.com. Reed, thanks a lot for joining us tonight. How you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. Thank y'all for having me back on, and it's great to be back home in Louisiana.
Yeah, you're not bummed you're not going to Tampa this weekend?
I don't know. It was a lot of travel. It's been a lot of travel the past couple of days. Getting to Spokane,
not easy.
Getting to Spokane is not exactly easy. So I'm happy to be at home.
Yeah, you weren't on the charter for LSU women's basketball. Kim wouldn't let you on.
No, I don't think Kim would be too happy about that.
Well, so Reed, we can talk about the game, and I'm sure we will at some point. But can you give the listeners and the fans that are listening right now any update whatsoever on Flau'jae's status?
The update is that there is no update and that we're still waiting. I know that's not exactly the answer you're looking for, but we should get some news in the next couple of days. You know, she has to decide, ideally by the end of the week. The WNBA isn't exactly clear about when exactly their deadline is. I don't think it's a very hard deadline in terms of declaring early and dropping the rest of your eligibility. They give some leeway there. It's kind of a soft deadline. But the rule of thumb generally is that once your season ends, if you're in the Elite Eight, it's generally within about 48 hours of your last game ending or within 10 days of the start of the draft. And this year the draft is April 14th. So it's 10 days before that is April 4th. Which is Friday. So I think, you know, we'll get a firm decision from Flau'jae, I think this week at some point. I think LSU fans just need to be a little patient. We did, however, talk to her in the locker room after the UCLA game, and she had some interesting things to say about, I guess, her future.
What was her?
What were those interesting things?
Yeah, so she said that she wants another championship, essentially, right? She said she was tired of getting to Elite Eight, you know, and running into a better team and losing and just falling just short of the Final Four, right? She says she has a championship already, and she played a big role on that championship, and she's grateful she got to be on that team, and she's appreciative of it. But she says that she wanted her own championship, you know, and I thought that was really interesting because I guess I never really thought about it like that, you know, that championship kind of belonged more so to Alexis Morris and Angel Reese than it did Flau'jae. And so now that she's not a freshman and now that she's one of the leaders on the team and she's one of the best players in the country, maybe, you know, I'm thinking that she'll come back for one more year and try to make one more run at a championship. And this time, maybe if she does get there, she can call it her own. So she's just a great person to talk to. You know, she's always authentic and you can always count on her to, I guess, say exactly what she's feeling and say what she's saying. So that wasn't any different after the UCLA game, so it was great to talk to her.
Well, what do you think she's weighing in her mind right now? I mean, the pros and the cons, like doing a Ben Franklin list. I mean, you know, she could make more money in college with her current NIL deals than she could make on a salary basis in the WNBA. Now she could still get endorsements. But what do you think she's weighing in her mind? And do you believe that the defection, so to speak, by Samaya Smith, who she was relatively close to, I believe, have any factor in her decision moving forward?
I'm not sure Samaya Smith's decision to transfer has anything to do with it. I'm not sure that money really has a whole lot to do with it either, because I think she'll be set pretty much either way. You know, all of the money she's making right now is from endorsement deals. All those deals are going to follow her to the WNBA. Like whether she goes this year, whether she goes next year, she's set there, right? And if you think about it now, you know, pretty much soon, in the next couple months or so, assuming that the House settlement gets final approval and schools can start sharing revenue with their athletes in July, we would not exactly know how LSU is going to approach that yet. But, you know, Flau'jae, if she comes back for her senior year, she figures to make some kind of extra money from LSU's revenue sharing plan, right? So I think that's a factor as well. I'm not sure LSU has finalized that plan yet, but I'm not quite sure money's a factor. It's more so just I'd imagine she's kicking around just the feedback she's gotten, the pros and cons of returning for her senior year. Maybe she gets hurt right in her senior year, and maybe she, maybe that affects her draft stock. You never know exactly what's going through her head, especially since the way the season ended and the loss to UCLA is still kind of fresh.
Do you think? Excuse me 1 second. Do you think? So she's either going to stay at LSU or go to the WNBA. You don't think she is thinking about transferring to another college?
No, I would be really caught off guard if that happens. I think she loves LSU and she loves Kim.
Well, Kim was caught off guard yesterday, right?
Yeah, she certainly was. What do you think about the chance she has a relationship that Tania Latson, the leading scorer in the country from Florida State, who just entered the transfer portal a couple of days ago from Florida State. Like I said, she was a leading scorer in the nation this past year. And Latson said that they played together, I guess, in some type of club ball or something when they were younger. Do you think that if Flau'jae does come back, that she could have a strong role in recruiting Latson? Do you think they're interested in Latson? Who do you think they're looking at in the transfer portal right now?
So, yeah, I do think they're interested in Latson. I think they will go after the big fish. I think they'll make a run at them. But Latson, I think, is going to have her choice of where she wants to go, right? I'd imagine all the top teams are going to say, hey, we're interested in you, but ultimately it's going to be her decision to pick which one she really wants to go to. And LSU can put its best forward and can say, hey, here's what we can offer you here, from a basketball perspective and an off-court perspective as well. And if Flau'jae does return, I'd expect her to be involved in bringing her on, trying to recruit her as well as any other transfers that LSU wants to go after. But the way I see it now is that LSU has a greater need for size, right? So if you're penciling in Flau'jae and Kayla, you're losing Aneesah Morrow and Smiley Smith, right? So who's those front court players that you're going to plug into the starting lineup next year? I think LSU is going to have to get one, maybe two transfers to really beef that up, and that right now is really the top priority. Again, a lot of it depends what Flau'jae does, and she's kind of the first domino. But if this team wants to get back to the Elite Eight and get over that hump and get back to the Final Four, it's going to need some more size. It's going to need some more rebounding. That was true before Samaya Smith hit the portal, and it's especially true now.
So Grace Knox is the sixth best player in the nation coming out of high school, and she's the top recruit of that number one recruiting class. Does she figure in down low? And what about Kim Cavall of Notre Dame, who was the top recruit last year that LSU lost out on?
Sure, yeah. Grace Knox, she's playing in the McDonald's All-American game right now, actually. She is, I of course expect her to contribute at least a little bit next year. I'm not exactly sure if she'll be ready to start right away and play 20, 30 minutes every night, but LSU, does love all four freshmen it's got coming in, and I do think that LSU expects all four of them to be able to contribute in some capacity right away, right from the jump next season. So Grace Knox, they have her, she figures to have a pretty large role no matter who they get in the portal. And like you mentioned, one of their targets, I'd imagine, in the portal is going to be Kate Cavall from Notre Dame, because they recruited her out of high school, and LSU made her short list of teams before she did commit to Notre Dame. So now she's in the portal. So it would be a pretty natural fit if she goes back to LSU and starts to flirt with them a little bit.
Reed, thanks a lot for your time. Great work this week. Great work this season covering this team. It should be fascinating to see what happens over the next couple of weeks.
Yep. All right, guys. Thanks for having me. Always.
All right.
Thanks, Reed.
Reed Darcey from The Advocate. Have a chance. Well, I was going to say he's going to get some rest, but it sounds like he's got some big stories coming up here.
He's going to be busy.
Yeah. This Flau'jae Johnson decision is going to be very interesting.
Spring is sprung, the grass is riz, I know where the library is. What's happening at the library? The 19th annual One Book, One Community series celebrating sports and youth mentorship with Jeffrey Marx's best-selling book, Season of Life. Join the library for events and activities for all ages in March and April. For details, spring over to readonebook.org. That's Readonebook.org.